Welcome to Out and About, the programme where we interview people about their work. In this programme we talk to Tom Mor about the new World Tapestry and his role in its design and creation.
Well, it all started in 1976 when I lived in Plymouth, and I was fascinated by history, particularly with the 1490 Prysten house, which is owned by St Andrew's Church of Plymouth and is still there. And my friend, the vicar, John Watson, asked me to suggest something that would be ongoing and involve as many people as possible. And people love to watch other people working. And so the visitors would chat to the people working. So it was a sort of win-win situation, as they say now. I found a lady who was one of the Guild of Embroiderers. And from then it was very easy because she had friends who were embroiderers. So she formed a team of 20. Obviously, it became successful. And we had visitors from all over the Devon and Dorset, and they asked if they could have a panel to do as well. We went from the 20 to 256. In 9 centres in Devon and Dorset. Well, it wasn't so much of the actual factual research findings, but it was the places that one went to, like the Hannums in Dorset, to their place, which had fantastic archives, and also the people one met. Well, of course, the Queen and the Queen Mother, who actually invited us to Clarence House in London. I mean, that was an amazing day. Well, the first stitch was done by the Honourable Kingman Brewster, and he was the American ambassador, and he came down to Plymouth to do it. And it was an amazing coincidence because he put his stitch. I'd already designed the panel, which was the 1620 Pilgrim Fathers, and put in his ancestor, William Brewster, and he came down and put the stitch in. And of course the other one was the last stitch, which was Prince Charles at Highgrove. That was an amazing day. 24. It was never intended that way, of course. We were just going to do it in the Prysten house in Plymouth, and then because other people came and asked for a panel to do, we went from 1 to 5 to 7 to 12, and eventually we stopped at 24. Well, the making of it in Cold Harbour Mill in Devon, and then I moved it to Bristol, to the British Empire and Commonwealth Museum, which, I gave it away. I gave the thing away to the general public, or the country, you could say, and unfortunately, I thought that was safe there. It wasn't, because they went bust, and so that museum closed down. So luckily the tapestry was taken into the care of Bristol City, where it is in the archives now and is well protected by the city of Bristol. Before I did the New World Tapestry, I designed a tapestry which was 28 foot long, which is called the Plymouth Tapestry, which tells the story of the first schoolmaster in Plymouth in 1560, the appointment of the first schoolmaster, and you can still see it in Plymouth. Obviously, I mean, I had a business to run anyway, and but I came across, I was introduced to Joan Roncarelli, who was a brilliant tapisser, a needlewoman, and she had just the right touch, and she used to go round to the 9 centres, it turned out, and oversee the work in a very kindly way. You've got to be very careful with the embroiderers, but if it wasn't, I couldn't have possibly done it myself, but she kept that side of it going. The wool was given to us by Emu Wool of Bradford, which we couldn't have done. We couldn't have done it without them, because the wool is very expensive, of course. And as the new centres took place, it came about, we found that like Totnes, for instance, they provided the frame, which was very expensive. You know, you're talking about 250 quid or something for a frame. But a lot of these places, because it brought people to them as well. And so also people could put their own stitch in for £1. So, and we had this famous thing in Exeter, which was in Tinley's, which was a cafe in Exeter. We had it working there, and it was near the loo. And so as people used to go into the loo, it was in for a penny, in for £1. The canvas we did supply, I had the agency, and we provided the canvas. 20 years from start to finish. And it was never intended, of course. It was just going to be Plymouth, working in Plymouth, but because people came and they wanted to do it, and I thought I was going to leave it. I was going to design it and leave it so it would always be done in Plymouth, so people would go down to Plymouth to see it being done. But then I thought, well, I could see this through to the finish if these other people would like it. And so that was the reason why I gave it to other places to do. My wife, who's working in the business, wasn't too keen on it, because it did take me away from the actual running of the business a lot. Well, that's the other part of it. You're talking about the value of, well, you kind of put a value on the tapestry. It's priceless. But the other thing is, of course, there are 246 people are shown on the tapestry. Their coats of arms are shown. Now, we've got files in each one of those, which is in a library. So it's not just the tapestry itself. A lot of it is unique research. You wouldn't find it elsewhere. And the old families are shown, and their coats of arms are shown. But one day it will be available for researchers. Yeah, every one of the people who are named on the tapestry and their coats of arms, they say they've all got files, and a lot of people don't realise that their families are shown.